Hi everybody, and welcome back to another CYT-Crypto episode. My name is Stephen Aitchison, and today we'll be going over the markets, looking at a few kind of charts, news stories, talking to you guys, and just talking crypto, basically, whilst having a wee cup of coffee as well. So remember, go down to the like button, crush those likes just now if you like this channel. Channel is definitely growing, and I need to find out other ways to grow the channel as well, but I'm not totally focused on that. I just want to kind of talk crypto. I can think about the kind of business side of it later on, because there's so much going on just now. And my computer is just amazingly slow at the moment, so I'm going to have to spend a couple of hours in clearing that out and kind of reinstalling the operating system. Been meaning to do it for ages. I've just never done it for ages, unless you know of another way of speeding up an iMac. I've just got loads of stuff on it, so I need to speed that up. Okay, I know the room is very echoey just now as well. We've kind of taken out the carpet and everything, so that's not, it's making it very echoey. So hopefully I've turned up the volume on it and dampened down a few other things. So hopefully you can hear better than yesterday as well. Just let me know in the comments. And I'm just going to check just to make sure we are live and up and running. I believe we are. Got a few people watching, yep. So just dive into the chat room. If you're in watching just now, just leave a comment just to say hi, just so we know where you are, who you are, and just to say a quick hi to you. I kind of call out everybody on the channel as well, you probably noticed. Okay, we have Tim Gash is in this morning, Donny Don Matthews, Stormkeeper, Stephen King, I dominated my chip bag. Mark Totten is in, good to see you. Mitch Dieter, Mervyn Skidmore, Gordy Boy, Gary Stewart, Pascal Amsterdam, Nick Smith, Crypto Don Wan, good to see you. On his crypto journey, Marcus Jafari, Sean Dubbs, David Schwartz, Adam Forrest is in as well. When XRP Moon, we're going to be talking about XRP as well. Top tip, I use a separate laptop for porn. Adam Forrest, good morning to you. Morning Stephen, CYT crew, just going through messages. That's it. Crypto Don One, are you live streaming off your laptop or a camera? It's off a camera. So it's live streaming off the camera just now, that's plugged into an Ultra Studio mini recorder that's streamed through Wirecast, the software. So, London Bobby, Honolulu in the house. Good to see you here. Okay, so we'll just go over to Crypto Bubbles. Look at that. Look at that for greenness. We're all green apart from Oldham right in the middle there. I think that's the only one. And Aurora. So Oldham down 14.2% on the day. It was obviously up. And Aurora is down as well. And I think that was the only two red ones over 24 hours in this group of cryptocurrencies. This is not every single cryptocurrency, it's just a group of them. Okay, so that's the last 24 hours. Looking good. And we'll go over the last hour, see where we are from there. It looks a wee bit different from there. And we have next is up 5.38% over the last hour, so that's moving up just now. OMG is moving up 1.92%, 8.22% on the day. Dent is moving down 3.36%. ABBC coin, PundiX, Waves, CNX, Kryptonex is down 1.99% in the last hour as well. TrueChain is up 1.75%, 9.75% on the week. Nex is up 44% on the week as well. And OMG down 4.55% a week. So overall it's kind of mixed in the last hour, but over the last 24 hours definitely green. Jump back to chat. Crypto Don Wan saying nice. That's for the camera setup. Okay, so we'll go over to, I was looking at basic attention token there and looking at the market cap. So we'll go over to the overall top 100 on CoinMarketCap. So market capitalization overall is 175, nearly 176 billion. And if you remember from yesterday, we had 168 billion, so it's gone up 7 billion because the Bitcoin price has gone up to aggregated price of 5,390, up 2.89%. See who the winners and losers are. We've got Bitcoin dominance of 54.2%, so it's going down, so people are starting to get back into the alts, and we'll see that on the Binance, when we look at Binance as well. Okay, so Ravencoin up 20%, Bitcoin Cash up 13%, TrueChain up 10%, Horizon 10, Wax up 10%. So 5 in double-digit greens. Chainlink going up as well, 9.79. VeChain up on some news as well. Waves, Theta, Seacoin, Walton Chain, Bytecoin next, all up as well. So we'll see who's down. We've only got a couple that are down. So Odom down 14.19%. We've seen that. Aurora 4%. DAI 1.14%. That's a stable. Dent 0.51. Others are stable coins as well. So there's only 3% of the top 100 are down just now, and 97% are up at the moment. Okay, so look at the overall markets. We've now got 2,141 cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap, and ICO calendar in the last 24 hours is up 168% on 10,000 volume. ICE Chain on 21,000 volume up 63%. Japan content token is up 62% on 204,000 volume. Haven't heard of that, and you've probably not heard a lot of, about a lot of these. Dignity, you've heard a lot about them. They're up 56% just now. Bitcoin X up 53%. What other ones? Tigerium or Tigerium up 41% on 14,000 volume. I'm just looking for these kind of hidden gems. Transcodium, 115,000 market capitalization, up 29% on 280,000 volume. Could be one to look at as well. What other ones? Bitcoin, I don't like these kind of ones that kind of take the Bitcoin name, so I'm not going to look at them. And I know why they do it. It's for marketing, obviously, and for psychology, but it doesn't work in the long run, I don't think. Global Talent, up 20% on 667,000 market capitalization. So there's a few in there, and we've formed a kind of alliance group. Just now we've got 5 people in this alliance group that are looking for hidden gems. We're looking for a consensus of how to report for the hidden gems. These are the ones that are going to go up 10, 20, 30, 50, 100x, 1000x. Or not 1000x, that would be a bit much. But they could. So we're looking for tomorrow's coins. That's really what we're doing. We're looking for these hidden gems. So we're just kind of talking about it just now. We've got the people in the group talking about it, and we'll figure out where to go from here, but we will let you know. So we've got some brilliant people in there that are kind of really interested in hidden gems and reporting it to you as well. Okay, go back to the chat. See who's in. Olo Bramblebert is in. Mark Innes is in. Morning, Stephen the Brilliant CYT crew. Yes. So we've got a few people in just now. Kig, thank you very much for the $2 donation. Really appreciate that, mate. As always, thank you so much for the donations. Any donations welcome as well. So I really appreciate kind of any donations. I don't make a lot. I think I make about $100 a month or something from advertising. Well, it's not from advertising. Mostly it's from tips from Kig and some of you others as well. So $100 a month from the YouTube channel I'm talking about. I'm not talking about from the program or anything that I've got. Crypto Knowledge Alliance is in. Good morning to you, James, one of our brilliant admins, who is also in the kind of hidden gems kind of group as well that were kind of formed, just formed. So more about that kind of later on. Okay, let's jump over to the kind of small caps just now. So Adam Todd had his AMA yesterday, and a lot of you have seen that. I'm not convinced personally. I wasn't convinced at all with Adam Todd's kind of explanations, but the price did go up, and the price actually went up to, I think, a peak of 761 on Mercatox, probably higher than that. In fact, we probably could go to here. Is this on the hourly? We'll just refresh that and see where it's at just now. Yeah, 676 is that just now. We did go to 761, so I think at one point it was up about 30 or 40%. as he was speaking on the Ask Me Anything on YouTube. So I was watching a bit of that. I wasn't convinced, if I'm being really honest. So for me, I'm out of the game altogether with Digitex. But I do hope any investors in it, I do hope any investors and anybody kind of involved in Digitex will kind of profit from it. I just think there are more opportunities out there and less risky opportunities, and people that are projects that have got products that are out there. But Adam sounded convincing. He said in a couple of months' time they've got this new company on board to build out the exchange for them. But personally, I'm not convinced. So I'm out the game, but I wish everybody kind of success with this as well, whoever went into it. Who else we're looking at? AdBank. Look at them. I think they're down as well. They kind of went down quite heavily actually. Down to about 25, wasn't heavily, but yeah, 25 Satoshi, so close to their all-time low at 20 Satoshi. So I think for me it's another opportunity to kind of look and buy some, but I'm not doing it just now. I'm putting my funds into other projects. Just now, any funds I've got, I will be putting into other projects. So I've got enough in the game for AdBank just now. It's not worth that much at the moment. It was at the time, but it's not now. So I'll just keep what I've got just now. I still believe AdBank is going to do well. We had to look at Metamorph. How are they doing? Bitcoin wise, 91 Satoshi. So down about 50% from where they were last week or the week before. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. But that's fine. That's just a story with these kind of small caps as well. Who else? Blockport, I think we're moving up. BPT. 1652. No, it just moved up slightly after kind of coming down. But I've no doubt they'll come back up as well. So I'm just holding them for the long term. Who else? Can't remember who else. Oh, Howdo, of course. So Howdo at 286 at the moment. For Howdo, they did have a big spike down to 142. Then they kind of went back up, 303. So again, because it's a small cap, because it's not on a big exchange yet, the liquidity is not there, so it's easier to kind of drop in price and kind of spike in price as well. So I've no doubt for the long term, Howdo are going to do amazing. No worries about them at all. I'm looking forward to using their platform and kind of growing the following on the platform as well. So I've done it with Facebook and other channels as well. And no doubt I can do it with Howdo and just help them grow as well. So looking forward to that. So that's the small caps. And we'll just look at Binance. What's happening on Binance just now? Key are up, or self-key are up 23.26% at the moment. They were up to about 61 they went up to for about a 40% rise. And that's coming up as an all-time low for self-key. So a lot of these, you're going to find a lot of these in the kind of low Satoshi value coins. They're going to jump up by the 30, 40, 50% because they've hit their all-time low and because of the low Satoshi value. So because it was at 43 Satoshi, it only needs to jump 20 Satoshi and it's up 50%. So we're going to get a lot of that as we kind of hit another kind of run in the alts and in the kind of crypto markets in general. Ravencoin is up 16% on Binance. We can see that there. On the 4 hour it's coming up for the crossover. It's not quite crossed over yet, but a recent low that hit 835 after being up about nearly 1800. So that could spike up again. Encash are finally moving as well. We were speaking about this a couple of weeks ago. And they hit a low of 31 up to 35. So it looks good, 12.9%, but it's really only 3 Satoshi it's moving, 3-4 Satoshi. But it's still good that it's moving from that point of view. And One Chain as well moving up, coming off its low as well. So we're going to get a lot of these kind of low Satoshi value coins coming off their all-time lows and bouncing back up. Atom is on, and just have a look at the hourly. So it's 7,808. So obviously it's come down from 10,000, 100,000, sorry, and it's 7,828. So how much is that in dollar value? $4.20, and it's moving up. And this is one, James, one of our admins, Crypto Knowledge Alliance, it was talking about a lot, and he sees good things for that. It looks as if that's going to go up again as well. And Matic was up as well. Yep, 79 Satoshi. I know Superman is big on this one as well. 119, 79. So I'll just wait just to see where this stabilizes. Where is Seller just now? Seller 190, so it's moved up a wee bit. I couldn't believe it when it dipped below 200, but it went down to 172. It's coming up on the hourly to cross over. On the daily, it just looks terrible. So there's going to be an opportunity in Seller Network. I think it's a good project, but it's just kind of went down and down and down, and it's trying to catch a fall. And now you need to wait and it stabilising and not chase the trade, waiting it coming to us, as I keep saying. So that's Binance. So we'll just go back to chat area. Could you take a look at VET? Thanks, I will do. We'll just take a look at that just now. After I looked at kind of Bitcoin, we'll do the kind of other charts. Hassie, what's your view on KIN, Coinbase custody news? Is this just effectively a wallet rather than any trading, etc.? With KIN and Coinbase custody news, I don't know about it, if I'm being honest. I have to admit. Chia Ngov is in the house. Young Buck Chewy is in. Skidmore been DCA and QKC for ages, expecting a rise on mainnet. Still down. Thoughts? We'll have a look at that as well, so I'll come back to it. Morning, big boy. Tyke 310. Gordy boy, I agree with Tone Bays. XRP is in the top 10 scam coins, says Gordy boy. I've got a totally different view from a lot of people. I think it's XRP is Marmite. You either love it or hate it. I hated it first because of my kind of misconception or misperception about the kind of markets overall. But I do think we need something like XRP, and I think it's going to rise big time. So totally disagree with you, Gordy boy, but that's crypto for you. Mitch Dieter, PundyX gives me sleepless nights. Yeah, been a nightmare in and out of PundyX and kind of lost quite a bit. Sean Dubs, put my trading fund into ETC and MCO, been doing well last 24 hours. You reckon they will continue to go up? Yep, long term, definitely. I think long term Ethereum Classic is going to be brilliant. I think long term MCO is going to be brilliant. I've been saying that for a while. If you're talking short term, that might be a different story. You need to look at the charts. But we'll take a look at the Bitcoin charts just now. Where are we just now? $5,307. This is on Bitstamp. We'll look at BLX. 5,331. So on the daily, it still looks quite good. I said yesterday, because of the two red candles we had and the wicks we had on them, we'll just show you that. BTC USD. So if we zoom in, and we've seen here it was kind of coming down from 5,600, and I wanted to push down further to around the 5,000 level, but came back up. And then there was two green candles, but they were just kind of sitting there, and the bodies were very low and looked as if it was going to go down. Then there was two subsequent red candles. Bodies were extremely tight as well, which to me indicated that the market wanted to move higher, and it did indeed. It jumped up from 5,120, 5,289, so it jumped up about 150 to where we are just now, 5,309, and it still looks as if it wants to go higher. So we're getting higher kind of highs and higher lows as well, so that's good. So it's looking okay at the moment. Still, Bitcoin is always going to be precarious, even if it's kind of riding high on a big wave. It's always precarious. It could just go down at any time, or shoot down, or shoot up at any time. So you just don't know, but it's looking good. According to the TA, but because it's so heavily manipulated, you can't really go by TA. We can just have a look to see what it's doing, but there you go. It looks okay at the moment according to the TA, and looks to be testing that 5,400 again, then 5,600, and on to the $6,000 finally. See if it knocks on the door of 6,000, and I'll take it from there. Okay, the chat. Steve, what do you think of Matrix AI? They're partnered with Mega Chinese Belt and Road Project. Again, not one I've looked at in depth, so we can have a look at it. Going long term for sure. That is for ETC and MCO. Long term, ETC and MCO, brilliant. That's one of the ones you could kind of put money in and just walk away for a couple of years and come back and you'd have a lot of money. Adam Forrest, I think XRP is how the whales will hedge against BTC. I think that as well. Sean Dubs, I have about 20% of my fund for swing day trade. Anything for a short trade, catch your attention. There's a few, you're probably not going to like it, Sean, so I'm going to do a call of the day as well today after this. I don't need to the ASD, can please take a look at TRX. Hi Steve and everyone, smash the like. God boy Steve, how do you keep note of your crypto buy spreadsheet or online tool? Spreadsheet. Or crypto buys for when I do it in the premium group, I've got a spreadsheet, but I have Coin Tracker. So I've got Coin Tracker for, just see, new incognito window, just show you this so I don't accidentally show you mine. Coin Tracker. So this is not mine just now, it's just Coin Tracker, so it's coin, trackr.com. So that's how I keep track of my portfolio. It doesn't tell you the kind of buys and sells for kind of tax reasons. You could have to use something else like cryptocompare.com, that's the one I used before. I'm not using it so much now because I'm keeping things long term, so I know what the tax is going to be. It's going to be 20% on the tax if I'm holding long term, the likes of XRP, Cardano, Bitcoin, etc. So Coin Tracker, I like to keep that just to see what's in the portfolio at the minute, but it doesn't keep track of the buys and the sells. That's the only thing. So I hope that helps. Young Boy Chew, first time viewer Steve, I like your style, from Palm Springs, California. Excellent. Good to see you here. So it's just nearly coming up for 1 AM in California, I think. So, but brilliant to see you, and we've got a new viewer. So welcome to you. Okay, so we'll take a look at some of the ones you've been asking for, and then we'll go on to the news, then we'll do the call of the day, just so you know what's coming up. So VET, we'll take a look at VET for Kick, BTC. We took a look at it yesterday, but we'll take a look again, see what's happening. It's moving up. So 121, I think it was about 114 yesterday. On the daily, I've got down to, what was it, 111 it got down to, but then it started moving up, so it's up about 10% from yesterday. So look at on the hourly, see what's happening on the hourly. Crossed over yesterday around about 10 AM. It crossed over at 114, I think that's when we spoke about it. Can't remember actually, but I know we looked at it yesterday as well. So it looks a buy from the short term point of view on the hourly. Would you trade on the hourly? You would if you're looking for a couple of percentage points, but if you're looking for longer term, on the 4 hourly it's crossing over. It looks as if it's just about to cross over. So it's looking good for BET just now. Daily, it's not crossed over yet, but could well do over the next couple of days. Yep. So it looks good. Looks good, Kick. QKC for ages. We looked at QKC the other day, I think, for James. QKC BTC. So down to 527. So it's going towards that 316 level. So you could get a double bottom and bounce from there. Hopefully not for QKC, but we've got this support here at 318. If you're in it for the long term, obviously put your kind of stop loss around about the 290 mark. 4 hours. It didn't really look good on any of the charts. 1 hour, 27th of April, kind of crossed over at 580. It went up to 644, not that much at all, about 10%. So it was a kind of false breakout there and came right back down. So we're seeing some signs of movement on the 1 hour chart. On the 15-minute, you're just getting a crossover just now. You've not really had a crossover on a 15-minute for a couple of days, so it could indicate something. Well, no, we had a crossover there yesterday. Not much, 523 up to 540. So I'm not too sure. Short-term trading for QKC. Long-term, I think a different story altogether. But for short-term trading, nah, I'm not too sure about it. I'd wait until a signal came to you, and that's either on a 4 hour, the 1 hour, 4 hour, or daily, depending on what time frame you're looking for. If you're looking for a short-term trade and looking for a signal, use the 1 hour. If you're looking for longer trades, use the 4 hour and the the daily, or the 3 day and the weekly as well. You could do that, but that's definitely not going to happen there. ETC and MCO. ETC, Ethereum Classic. So on the daily, doesn't look good, but coming up, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles, and we've just started the next daily candle. So we don't know there, but this is one I previously called as well, and it's done okay. I can't remember what it called it. 106,000. Was it 106,000? I think it was 106,000. So it's 110,000. I called it 106,800 or something. I think that, something like that. It's up to 110,000 just now. So it's good from that point of view, and I still think it's going to move up. 4 hour, it will have crossed over on a 4 hour yesterday actually. Well, it crossed over at 107,000. On the 1 hour, obviously it has kind of crossed over big time there. So it looks good for Ethereum Classic. Still like Ethereum Classic. MCO, BTC. Really like this. Really, really like MCO. Just now, that's on the 1 hour. We'll just go on the daily. So crossed over in the daily a while ago actually, on the 15th of February, and it's just never stopped kind of moving up. So we crossed over at 59,000 Satoshi. It's now at 92,000 Satoshi. It's moving up in the right direction. Obviously there's peaks and troughs with it, but it's still moved up, and it's been above the 50 EMA. The 70 EMA has been above the 50 EMA since the 15th of February. So it's looking good, and it was coming off its low there at 50,000. So yeah, really like MCO for the long term, and think you could do extremely well with MCO, especially once they start kind of shipping out to other countries, like the UK. Except you can't get the card in the UK just now, so need to hurry up with that, because other players are going to come into the market, but I still really like them. Who else was kind of talk? TRX. Right, TRX, just have a wee quick look. TRX 439 for TRX. I'm basing that on the crossover round about there. That's the Fibonacci retracement based on the crossover, and it crossed over on the 1st of December at 348. But it looks as if it wants to do the 100% retracement, so there's no signs. We've got on the hourly, we'll just take this off, the retracement. So on the hourly, it's just crossed over. I wouldn't take it as a big sign, but we've got a red candle on the hourly as well. Did go up to 447, crossing over from 433, so it's not a big crossover. Looking better on a 4 hourly than it has been for a couple of weeks. So I would wait on confirmation for TRX, unless you're in it just now. Obviously you'd kind of hold from here, but if you're looking to get into it, I'd wait on confirmation on the trade, maybe on the 4 hour or the daily. I wouldn't trust the kind of 1 hour chart unless it's kind of short term you're doing. What other ones did we see? QKC. Bet we've looked at, so I just want to make sure I cover everybody. I think I have. Okay, Steve, you mind take a look at Ethereum Classic, please? Oh, I've just done that. So cool, just done that. Hi, what about Bolt? Looked at Bolt. Now, Bolt I looked at. I can't remember why I looked at it, but I believe I've got that in my... No. I can't remember why I looked at Bolt. Shit, why did I look at that? I was looking at it the other day and I can't remember when or why but I didn't put it into any folders. But there's something about Bolt that I can't quite remember what it was for. Maybe somebody else has mentioned it. Okay, Stephen invested in a token called IWIW. There's only 20 million tokens, 6.5 million circulation. I have 1,000 tokens. Can I have your thoughts on price at the moment? It costs 45 TRX per token. So IWIW, is it on CoinMarketCap? IWIW? Nope, not in there. IW, not in there. I don't know just now, I don't want to kind of take up everybody's time with it just now, but we can have a look at it later on if we've got time. Crypto Knowledge Alliance, James, thank you very much for the £2 donation, mate. Really appreciate that. Mana looks great just now. Just have a wee look at Mana. Mana Bitcoin. 4 hour is coming up to a crossover. It's only crossed over, 19th of April, crossed over very briefly. There's kind of false breakout there. And it got up to 2080. That was back on the 28th of March. So that's on the 4 hour. Let's look on the daily. Yeah, this looks good. If you can see, I've looked at this before. You can see there's long-term support here. So this looks really good actually. There's long-term support here going back to September 2018. In fact, going back to before then to 18th of March, so nearly a year there's long-term support. So this could be a perfect play actually. So thanks for sharing this with us, James. One of our brilliant admins. This could be a perfect play. So Mana could be a brilliant play. In fact, I'd actually call that, to be honest, in the premium group. So I've not looked through all the charts this morning, but if I'd seen that and seen the support area there, see where it's bouncing off, that would definitely be a call, a premium call. So thanks for sharing that, and you could probably, well, maybe you could get about 70% of this over the next couple of weeks. So Mana could be a really good call because of that long-term support. So according to the charts, if you're looking at TA on the daily, you just, well, for me it would be I wouldn't kind of look at it. On a 4 hourly, it's just coming up to crossover. I like the crossovers, you know that. Hourly, obviously, it's crossed over and come back down again, though. That's the only thing. So you wouldn't really pay attention to the hourly. But if you're looking at the long-term support on the daily, then you would just definitely say, oh, this is to be called. So that looks a brilliant one, and you could get about a good 70% if BTC behaves itself. Well, BTC at 5301 just now, so that looks good. Okay, I'm just going to go to XRP. What's happening with XRP just now? So this is the kind of story we'll kind of lead with. Is it going to bounce? So XRP, you know, NASDAQ is kind of listing its index price as well. We kind of looked at it yesterday, and we kind of that was on a daily, but forms perfectly on the daily as well. On a 4 hourly, we can see here this kind of well, it was a symmetrical triangle really that was happening. It wasn't a descending triangle. So it was a symmetrical triangle looking to break out, and we said, okay, if it breaks out, it should go to about 5,950. It did get up to 5,970, and it broke out yesterday, just after I'd kind of been speaking about it, and it got to exactly there before coming back down again. So 5,696 just now for XRP. But the crucial thing is it kind of broke out this kind of small triangle, or this symmetrical triangle there. However, it's come back down again. I expected more of a rise, a sustained rise from it. Never really happened. We've got NASDAQ, obviously, as we said, the news from NASDAQ about Ripple as well. I've also got counter news as well to say Ripple have released 1 billion XRP into the eco space, or the crypto space, which is about $308 million just now. But that's obviously to fund kind of projects and other stuff, and to kind of replenish the stocks from the exchanges as well. So it's not just to bring in money for them. That's not why they released it from escrow, but they've released 1 billion as well. So when's it going to go up? What's going to happen? What's going to have to happen with XRP for it to go up? Obviously, a shift in sentiment for a lot of people as well is going to have to happen, because it is 50-50. I don't even know if it's 50-50, but there is a kind of divide on XRP just now. But I do see it as just going to explode. And I honestly don't care about the price. If this kind of shot down and it went down another 50% and went down another 50% after that, it just wouldn't bother me, because I would just be accumulating, because I really believe it's going to take off big time in the future. I'll just get rid of these just now. So if you're looking at it kind of chart wise, looking at it from a TA point of view, we can see on the 4 hourly, we haven't really crossed over at all since March. There's been small crossovers. Nothing's really happened. On the daily, you wouldn't be buying kind of if you're looking at the daily chart. But if we look on the daily, we've not crossed over that many times. On the daily, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 times we've crossed over in the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, crossed over on the daily, 70 EMA crossed over. Now I'm just going to see on the traditional charts where we are in relation to the 50 MA and the 200 MA. So we've had one crossover, that was on the 1st of November. So you can call that a golden cross for XRP. That was the 7,000, and then it went up to 10,000. That was the crossover there. And we had the death cross, if you're going to call it that, 8,176, round about there as well. Come back down to the 4 hourly, and then in 1 hourly. So just crossing over on the hourly, which we haven't really had. We've had a couple in and out beginning of March. So we've crossed over on the hourly for the 50 and the 200 MA. So that's a good sign. That's one bullish sign for XRP. And it's kind of news stories here. Ripple releases 1 billion XRP from escrow wallet as new month dawns. So it's got the kind of escrow wallet there, and it's got the address for the wallet as well. So in Q1 2019, 3 billion XRP were again released out of escrow, 1 billion each month. Additional 2.3 billion XRP were returned and put into new escrow contracts. The remaining 700 million XRP not returned to escrow are being used in a variety of ways to help support the XRP ecosystem. This is one thing we have to remember as well. When they release the coins, the XRP coins, it's to help the ecosystem or to replenish kind of XRP for the exchanges or whatever, because a lot of people are holding just now. I'm certainly holding. I'm not giving up mine. Not that I'm holding that much, but I'm not giving up mine just now. Unless it was to go up 400, 500, 600% or something. Even 100%, obviously, I'd take some profit at the top. I've learned from 2018. But a lot of people are holding, so they need to replenish these, and it is to help the XRP ecosystem as well. Ripple price poised for further appreciation, it says. So Ripple price analysis, this is from newsbtc.com. After a major drop, Ripple price formed a strong support above the 28 cent level, 28.5 cents level against the US dollar. I don't know why they do that against the US dollar. They should do it in BTC, but the XRP USD pair slowly climbed above the 28.8 cent level to 29 resistance levels. So it's looking okay from that point of view. They're saying it's kind of looking okay. Technical indicators, the hourly MACD the hourly RSI relative strength index as well, major support levels at 30 cents for it. So we'll just look at XRP, and I do can understand why they do it and don't look at BTC, because obviously we want a decoupling of XRP from BTC. XRP USD. So at 30.2 cents just now, obviously resistance there, 31 cents, major resistance there as well. But to me, this is an accumulation zone for me. When it goes down, accumulate. When it goes down, accumulate. When it goes up, accumulate. When it goes down, accumulate for XRP, and that's what I'm doing just now. Although I need to kind of halt it just now and just stop buying. I think I've not got that much, as I said. I've only got 15,000, but I've just been putting a bit in at a time. But I've got about 15,000 just now, and more in Cardano. So I'm just stocking up in them. Tiny bit in BTC now. I need to stock up more in BTC, and I'm looking at the alts again for the hidden gems. This is why the hidden gems project is going to be good. I'd like to stick maybe $1,000, a couple $1,000, and a couple of the hidden gems as well, and just build up that as well, that side of it. So that was the kind of news for Ripple. So Tether news. Tether lawyer admits stablecoin now 74% backed by cash and equivalents. So this is an update as well, and came out with this as well. And thanks to Rob, Adeb, and James for the news stories. And somebody in the premium group also kind of posted this as well. We'd kind of already had it, so thanks for all the news stories as well. So update May the 1st. So this was talking about the lawyer that was saying that it's backed by 74% cash and equivalents. So later Tuesday, New York Supreme Court Justice Joe Cohen ordered the NYAG's office to demonstrate to the court why the Attorney General's initial ex parte order should not be cancelled outright, or at least modified to allow Bitfinex and Tether's employees to access a line of credit offered by Tether to Bitfinex. The NYAG must submit a response detailing its reasoning by May the 6th, 2019. So Tether's obviously gone to the Supreme Court and kind of asked for that, saying why can we not get a line of credit, because obviously they didn't have that for Bitfinex. It wasn't Tether that went to them, but it was Bitfinex that kind of went to them, and it looks like they might get that. So it doesn't look as bad a situation for Bitfinex as before. Still bad, but we can check out what happens with that before May the 6th as well. And the other story, Tether only 74% backed by cash and equivalents. Tether lawyers. So Tether holds about 2.1 billion in cash and securities. So where's the other 26%? How's that? How's it backed by that? But it's not as bad as first kind of thought with that, and it could have brought down the market. Same with a kind of another Mt. Gox scenario. We're kind of thinking, oh, is this the start of it? But it's not as bad as we're first kind of thinking, or I was first thinking. This is from Ethereum World News. A Bitcoin bull run is inbound, long-term trend shows. So Bitcoin may soon rally strongly again. It may be collapsed. So it may have collapsed 7% last week off news that Tether's USDT might not be entirely backed. But one long-term centric analyst argues that technicals still look bullish for the asset. In a recent series of tweets, Dave the Wave, a popular trader that likes to focus on Bitcoin's multi-year cycles, noted that long-term indicators are currently signaling that BTC is poised to break out. So as seen below, I don't know if we can see this. Get the bigger picture up. So what once used to be the scariest indicator of all, looking at a lot friendlier for the bull case. So, well, it was never technically in a bear market to begin with. That's what I keep saying as well. We're never technically in a bear market when you look at kind of the longer term charts. But what they've said there, blockchain fundamentals show that a bull run, if not already on, is in the works. As I write this, per a recent report from a Dyer newsletter, analytics compiled by a token analyst have revealed that real Bitcoin volumes have been rallying alongside BTC. The outlet claims that over the past 3 months, the number of BTC in US dollar of that BTC transacted on the blockchain has risen 3 months consecutively. So it looks as if it's looking okay. It's looking okay, and Dave the Wave is saying the MACD is rolling over on the zero line. I don't pay attention to that, to be honest. Just kind of look at the price and see where it could go from there. But we still have to kind of pay attention to the MACD and other indicators like that as well, because other people use them, and that's what they trade off as well. So we have to know them to ignore them. So I still think it looks good for BTC. Still think it looks okay. No cash for sale in world first Bitcoin city. This is news that kind of the UK Sun newspaper is touting the world's first Bitcoin city today, where all cash is banned. Backers of the venture hope that Melaka, Strait City in Malaysia, will attract 3 million crypto tourists per year. Still not understanding why. I know it's you can pay with crypto, but you can't pay with Bitcoin, you can't pay with XRP, you can't pay with any other crypto. You have to buy a specific. I don't know if it's telling you this, because I had another news story I was reading. Visitors will be able to exchange their normal money for digital currency when they arrive, or just the digital currency they already own, you might suggest, but you'd be wrong. Yep. So you can't change the one you already own. It's a one-horse crypto city. The digital currency, you will be forced to change your normal money into DMI coin through Android, iOS, and PC apps. DMI is a company that provides mobile enterprises, business intelligence, cybersecurity services. They collaborated on this project to develop the DMI platform and coin. So cash is banned there as well. So it depends what they've got in the city. People are not going to go just because you can. It's kind of cryptocurrency only. So it depends what's in it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff in it. So that was the kind of other news story, the ancillary stories. What I really wanted to talk about was I was doing some research. Yes, I spent about 3 or 4 hours doing research for this kind of hidden gems group that we're in, and I went down a big rabbit hole, a big huge rabbit hole, and I came up with this. This is part of the kind of rabbit hole I went down, and came up with this for DeFi. A lot of people are talking about DeFi, but a lot of people are not talking about it as well. That's why I kind of had that headline. Why everyone and no one is talking about DeFi. So DeFi is decentralized finance, and it's a big, big, big market that we're kind of looking at here. And the more I kind of researched into it, and I wasn't specifically looking for it, but I kind of found it accidentally and kind of looked at it myself. And but there's a spin-off from this as well. So this is decentralized finance. I'm just going to share with you a couple of other news stories here as well, and just give you the Dharma, kind of looking at that. What is DeFi? Understanding the decentralized finance landscape. So decentralized finance has been making waves over the last several months following the surge in platforms and products offering DeFi services. Decentralized lending platform MakerDAO has risen to prominence amid impressive adoption of the stablecoin DAI, but is only part of a subset of a growing ecosystem driving unstoppable finance. This is big, big, big stuff. A lot of money involved in this. So lending protocols, security tokens, derivatives, exchanges and more, Ethereum's DeFi landscape is playing out as one of its most profound application environments so far, despite the network's scaling woes. So understanding DeFi can become convoluted with so much innovation currently ongoing, and that's where I was kind of went down the rabbit hole. So let's look at some of the critical components of it. This is what they're talking about. DeFi is essentially just conventional financial tools built on the blockchain, specifically Ethereum. They're mostly predicated on open source protocols or modular frameworks for creating and issuing digital assets, and are designed to confer notable advantages of operating on a public blockchain, like censorship-resistant improved access to financial services. So decentralizing everything is not a prudent move, obviously we know that already, and many DeFi applications take this into account by offering hybrid digital asset traditional finance services, such as BlockFi, an alternative term that is more encompassing of the ongoing focus on financial products is open finance, where an ecosystem of integrated digital assets, blockchains, and open protocols are integrating themselves with conventional financial structures. So basically it's kind of everything kind of financial, but it's on the blockchain. And again, the big players here are MakerDAO, Dharma, DYDX, and Compound Finance. Now Dharma was the one I was kind of looking into, and I was looking at who was backing Dharma and the number of investors that backed Dharma when it came out. So I'm looking for kind of hidden gems, as I said. So I went down a big rabbit hole and I thought this could be really, really big. But the other thing that was coming out, looking at all these kind of news stories about DeFi, just put a search into Google. What is DeFi or decentralized finance? Talking about bits like Buterin, but you'll see every single one of them on the Ethereum platform or Ethereum network. Not every single one of them, most of them, a very high percentage are using the Ethereum network. So it got me thinking about Ethereum. If we look at Ethereum just now, and I've been saying Ethereum is going to be up and coming, this could be the reason why it's going to kind of really bounce big time. So Ethereum just now, we're looking at on the kind of USD chart. Just look at ETH BTC. We'll go to ETH USD. So we're up to $168 at the moment. On the 1 hour, we've just crossed over 70 EMA. It's crossed over the 50 EMA. This is for the USD price. But if we look on the daily, crossed over there, it's kind of paying attention to this support line that's had going up, the ascending support line. So to me, it's looking good at $169 just now. And I think Ethereum is going to come back kind of big time. This is on the dollar. If we look at the BTC, Ethereum BTC, we'll go to Binance on the daily as well. It's kind of broken down on the BTC, kind of came out with this symmetrical triangle. We've seen that, but it looks like it wants to kind of come back again at 3 million Satoshi. And I think Ethereum is going to bounce from here, kind of big time. And looking into the kind of decentralized finance kind of led me to that kind of assumption as well, that that's what's going to happen with Ethereum, because more and more people are getting into it, and more projects are getting onto it from decentralized finance, and it's just exploding. The space is really exploding, so kind of have to look at that. Look at MakerDAO, look at Dharma Labs as well, and if we go into Dharma Labs, this is from Crunchbase, brilliant kind of application as well to look at. So Dharma Labs is a protocol for generic tokenized debt agreements. So it's a San Francisco-based company. But if we look at the investors in it, we've got 9 Yards Capital, Green Visor Capital, Polychain, Coinbase Ventures, Blockchain Ventures. We've not had Y Combinator. We've all heard of Y Combinator. I heard of them years ago when I read their book, Launchpad, I think it was, a brilliant book. And that's when I first got into Y Combinator. So they're a really big kind of investors as well in startups, not just kind of blockchain startups or cryptocurrency, but and kind of all types of startups. So this is really big, and the more and more I looked into it, using Crunchbase and other kind of stuff as well, I just thought this space is going to explode, and we're going to start looking, well, I'm going to start looking for the projects that are in this space, the DeFi space. So have a look out for that, do some research on it. I can't tell you everything here obviously, but it's going to be huge, and it is kind of exploding just now, but it's a silent explosion that's happening just now. Okay, I went into a hell of a lot there, so let me know what you think. Crypto Don Juan, Bolt partner with Binance. Maybe that's where I've heard it, so I've heard it from somewhere. Bolt, Gina Down, you look it up on Google. Crypto Don Juan, they're going on the Binance blockchain. Young Buck Chewy, Sean Dubs, drastic weather change. Right. I dominated my chips bag. I was at Palm Springs last weekend. It's awesome. The Bender Sting, stocked up on beer. Now just waiting for the Bulls to take over, so I'm ready. Excellent. It was a good. Need to stock up beer. Looking for it to go up. So Ola Bramblebar. Mr. Swanfield, hello, finally here. Good to see you, Mr. Swanfield. Ola Bramblebar, LRC holding long-term support. We'll just have a look at LRC. One we spoke about before lots of times, and like the look of it as well. LRC BTC. Yeah, hitting long-term support around about this level. Long-term support is around about the 1,000 level. And I was saying to a couple of people, if you're in it just now, for me, I would hold unless it broke this long-term support. So if it broke 1,000, then I'd think about selling LRC. But it's got long-term support there, and it's actually is all-time low as well. So this could be another brilliant play. I know I've said it a few times, but we had a couple of good runs with LRC, when it went from about 1,100 all the way up to 3,000. So it went up 200%, came back down. I thought we were going to get a cup and handle formation. Didn't quite get there, but it did go up about 50% or 30-40% before coming back down. And I think LRC represents another good opportunity to get in here and make some cash off this, but take some profits. Don't just, you could hold it for the long term as well. I think it's good for the long term. Nels Bull was in the house. Welcome to you. Market Ennis. Wow, Mana has some volume. Crypto Knowledge Alliance. Yeah, it's looking good, Mana. Devinder Singh, what's going on with BAB? They have gone off the radar. Honestly, don't know what's going on. Crypto Run 1, hit the likes. Yeah, hit the likes. Go down to like button if you liking these videos. We've got 59 people watching just now, so it'd be good if you kind of hit the likes there while we were on. And say hello. If you're watching just now, you don't usually say hello, just say hello in the kind of chat area. Is there any news on Bitstack, Candy Token, when we can trade them? There's nothing just yet, actually. I've not looked for a couple of days, or a couple of weeks actually. But I would imagine it'll come out soon, but hopefully we'll get some news on that, Gino. Cryptodon 1, DeFi is huge. Yeah, it is. It is absolutely massive, and I didn't realise how big it was until I went down that kind of rabbit hole yesterday when I was doing kind of other research that kind of led me onto that, which led me to the conclusion that Ethereum is going to explode as well. It has to explode. If DeFi is exploding, it's silently exploding just now, then Ethereum is going to explode as well. So I'm going to start stocking up on Ethereum as well and looking into some of the projects that are in the kind of DeFi space. VR, Steve, take a look at Matic Hidden Gem. Various analysts are raving about it. Yeah, I've seen that. Superman was kind of raving about it. Matic, I don't know what the market cap was. It's not got the market cap there. So I don't know what the market cap is. I can't remember the circulate supply for it just now. Donny Don Matthew, Steve, how do you get into DeFi? What to do is search for it in Google, find out what it is first, and then find out the players in the DeFi space. And there's a lot of players in the DeFi space. MakerDAO, and kind of obviously one of them. Dharma Labs, kind of looking at as well. So I'm looking kind of at Dharma as well. There's a couple of others. There's loads of others, about 200 kind of projects in the DeFi space. So you need to research it, but obviously I'll talk more about that as well as it comes. Augur is one of them as well. I really like the look of Augur as well. There's a few others I was kind of looking at. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I will talk more about this as well because it is so big. Slim Shady is in. Welcome to you. Good to see you here. Crypto Knowledge Alliance. Crush the likes. Yep, crush the likes, everybody. If you can. Hello, and I've liked too. Devinder Singh, thank you very much. Okay, that's it, I think, for just now. I'll just have a look, one last look at BTC. It's pulling back a wee bit, 5,287, but we're still going the right direction. That's the main thing. So I'm going to leave it there for the moment and wish you a good trading day. Wish you a good day, whatever you're doing. And until next time, namaste. Take care. Bye now.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.